I want to get into the mental stuff. You completely turned yourself into this guy. You weren't the most physically gifted guy in the world. You had to have something inside of you that said, I know I'm capable for more, and I want to maximize what my abilities say that I can do.
I was 14 years old. I'm playing freshman baseball. I come home to my dad and go, Dad, can you go talk to the coach? You know, I'm better than the guys playing in front of me. And my dad was like, I'm not going to talk to the coach. He goes, you're not glaringly better than that kid. He goes, I know you're better, but the coach doesn't know you're glaringly better. He goes, you want anything in life, you better be glaringly better than someone else.
So we were talking about how important it was for you to go to arbitration.
Yeah.
And really the experience it was kind of helped you understand. And the specific thing that you brought up is like understanding that what I do, what I agree to affects the guys coming behind me.
Right.
And the guys that went before me affect my ability to do this right now. Right.
Yes.
And so I told you I was reading a book. So the very first book I ever read in this business, ever, before I knew anything about agents, was A Whole Different Ballgame by Marvin Miller. And the thing, and I think everybody should also read this book. It's a little outdated now, but the takeaway is Marvin does such a good job helping people understand what it was like before free agency, right? Where guys basically signed a contract and guess what? Oh, you don't want to be on this team anymore?
Oh, good.
Well, then go ahead and retire because we own your rights for life.
Wow.
And so the reason that was such a problem for these athletes, for these baseball players, was like, well, how are you ever going to get what you think you deserve if you have no leverage to eventually leave and go somewhere else? You never would.
Right. Well, you know, it's funny. I remember Ken Griffey Sr, was my hitting coach for the first couple of years in the big leagues, which was the best. And he's from Donora, PA. You know, he's from
another PA guy.
Exactly. Pittsburgh guy. I get the chills. I get the chills. I know my body knows I'm about to tell a story, but he would say, Case, he goes, I made more money in the steel mills of Donora, PA in the off season than I did during the season.
That's crazy.
Isn't that incredible? By the way, Stan Musial was from Donora, PA too. This is the little Pittsburgh trivia. You're going to love this one. Ken Griffey Jr., born in Donora. Griff would always be like, bro, I'm a true Pittsburgh. He would always tell me, I'm a true Pittsburgh. I was born there. I was born in Jersey, moved here when I was 5, but I lived my whole life here. And Ken Griffey Jr. was born
in
Donora, and then he moved to Cincinnati, whatever. But he would always be like, dude, I'm a true Pittsburgh. I was born here. I'm like, oh, man. So we'd always joke around. Ken Griffey Jr.'s birthday. So 2 of the greatest hitters of all time. If you saw Donora, PA, it's so small. It's, it's like, really, really small. Joe Montana is even from that area. 2 of the greatest players of all time, Stan Musial and Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. But Jr. and Musial are in the argument for greatest players of all time.
That's crazy.
Born on the same day, dude. They have the same birthday. So they have the same birthday, obviously years apart, both from Donora. Come on.
That's a great trivia
question. Isn't that great trivia? It's great.
That's a great trivia question.
Great trivia question, dude.
We are solving problems today. I love it.
So great.
So I want to get into the mental stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think, and I've heard you talk about this. I heard you on Ed Milet's podcast talking about this. You, in a sense, you completely turned yourself into this guy, right?
Yeah.
You weren't the most physically gifted guy in the world.
Nope.
You had to have something inside of you that said, I know I'm capable for more.
Yeah.
And I want to maximize what my abilities say that I can do, right?
Yeah.
So you read a book, The Mental Game of Baseball by Harvey Dorfman.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that book and how old were you when you read it?
16.
Okay, so you're 16 years old. So you're in high school.
I'm in high school.
And what made you read the book?
My dad, well, first off, let me just tell a quick version of this story. I was 14 years old. I'm playing freshman baseball at Upper St. Clair High School. I'm not playing at all. I come home to my dad and go, Dad, can you go talk to the coach? I'm better than the guys playing in front of me. And my dad was like, I'm not going to talk to the coach. He goes, you're not glaringly better than that kid. He goes, I know you're better. Probably your buddies know you're better, but the coach doesn't know you're glaringly better. He goes, you want anything in life, you better be glaringly better than someone else. And he's like, you're not going to. So he's like, a batting cage had just opened up in the town next to me. He's like, listen, I'll buy you as many tokens as you want. It was tokens back in the day at this Grand Slam USA. He goes, if you hit every day, I'll buy you as many tokens. As soon as you stop hitting, deal's off. And he's like, but the point was, you want to start being glaringly better, you got to put the work in. You got to go hit every single day. And I found a hitting a guy I took lessons from, Frank Workoth. So grateful for him every Tuesday night for like a half hour. But I hit every day by myself. So that thought process of being glaringly better. So 2 years later, my dad brings home 3 books. He was a big reader. I wasn't a big reader at the time. He's like, Ted Williams, The Science of Hitting.
It's a good one.
Charlie Lau, The Art of Hitting 300.
Okay.
And The Mental Game of Baseball by Harvey, Dorfman, and Carl Keel. And for whatever reason, I read all of them, but the Harvey Dorfman Mental Game of Baseball book, dude, I just fell in love with it. And what I did was I started going at my free periods in school. I would take this book. I never thought I would do it. Go to the library by myself, start highlighting it. And I remember the one chapter on mental discipline was my favorite chapter. And he said, the ultimate compliment you can give anybody is that they're mentally disciplined. And it was basically saying like, they're able to focus on the task at hand better than anybody else out there. Right. And that was the first time in that book was the first time a chapter on responsibility, a chapter on dedication, a chapter on winners versus losers. There's so many incredible expectations. And, when I look back at that, with so many concepts that I heard that I never heard of, process over results, focus on the task at hand. I was fortunate enough, well, I'll go into it later, but I got a chance to work with Harvey when I got to the big leagues and all these things came out. But when I was 16 years old, that book just resonated with me now because I was like, dude, if I go to these showcases, to tell you the truth, I went to like the Kansas City Royals tryout, the Rockies tryout, maybe not the Rockies, but the Pirates, a bunch of these tryouts in high school. And I'm cut after the first day because we'd run the 60. I didn't run well. And I'd be cut, and I'd be like, I was like, are we going to hit? Is this a track tryout, or are we going to hit? I'm like, we're not going to hit? Is this baseball? Like, you can't steal first.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to actually hit the ball.
Yeah.
So I would never showcased well, but what I thought was, how can I be different? I need a 6th tool. There's always 5 tools. I don't have a ton of 5 tools. I have the hit tool. I have some power. I wasn't a great defender at the time, but I made myself a great defender. But I was like, there's got to be something else that can make me different. And this book, I know a lot of guys have read the book, but I put it into action. I was like, all right, what is this breathe or die thing Harvey talks about? How do I slow myself down? When my eyes are connected to my brain, how do I get into that, the parasympathetic nervous system where I can slow down, turn my vision on, make better decisions, let the ball travel. Harvey used to say it takes balls to let the ball travel. Not everyone has those. And I took that personally. I read that in the book. I was like, man, I want to be that guy that lets the ball travel so different, makes decisions late in that zone. How can I be different than everyone else? Because I can't get past the first freaking day of tryouts. You know what I mean?
So you had these thoughts at that age?
Yeah, I started to have these. Well, you know what I started to see, Matty? It worked. So I get into the season. I'm like, okay, I'm really slow down, take a breath, look left center, hunt the fastball, see the ball be easy. Harvey said, see the ball be easy. So I see the ball be easy, So I get that breath, go, wham! I'm like, and I start taking pitches that, oh man, look at that. Oh, well, good take. And all of a sudden I started putting these at bats together in high school. I was like, wow, I'm getting legit. I struck out one time in high school, and a lot of it learning visually, how to visually slow myself down and let the ball, and be ready to hit. Yes, till my eyes tell me no. A calm aggression. How do I get to that calm aggressive? How do I stay aggressive but get my body in a state to perform, right?
Yeah.
So, dude, I was a guy, if you like me, you got to come to the game.
Right.
I was a 7 o'clock hitter.
Yeah.
There was a lot of 5 o'clock hitters, guys, oh man, look at this guy, he can run. But in the game, they sucked. I was a 7 o'clock guy, and I started to realize this stuff works at 7. That's why I say, I do this performance coaching program, MLB performance coaching program, and I say, I'm your 7 o'clock coach. I'm the game time coach. You got all this guy showing you how to hit in the cages. They're all good. But at 7, you're going to need me. At 5, you're going to need them. I learned that through Harvey. I learned that through trial and error. I learned that through getting cut from all these places. Like, I don't showcase well. Well, you come watch the game and you're going to see 3 hits. You're going to come watch the game. You're going to see a rock at the left center. You're going to see a rock at the right center. You're going to see a walk. You're going to see bullets everywhere. Because I'm so good at letting the ball travel.
Yeah.
I've mastered that art. So it's like, I knew I needed something else. I think glaringly better, was such a big thought for me from my dad. It was like, what do you have that they can't see? And what they couldn't see was my mind, my heart, the way I played the game. But the way I was like I said, you want to see me? You want to see it? The scouts, and also in high school, I did really well, but still didn't run well. So I had no scholarships to anybody. I went to my dad one more time. It was an incredible conversation. I went to my dad when I was 18 years old. I go, Dad, 17 before my senior year. I go, Dad, where is everybody? Like, where are all the scouts? I'm glaringly better now. I'm one of the best hitters in the area. And at the time, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette went on strike. So that was all you had back then. You had the local paper to get it out there.
Oh, interesting.
Stuff like that. So it was an interesting time, right? 1992. So my dad said, you know what? Here's another lesson you got to learn, Sean. He goes, no one's coming for you. Nobody cares. Nobody's coming for you. He goes, you got to start going to them. He goes, why don't you come home tomorrow and write 30 letters to colleges you want to go to. I came home after school, sit down. My dad has started his own company, wrote 30 letters, Penn State. I mean, Division III to Division I. I had no offers. Division Worcester, Penn State, Clemson, all these things. I wrote them out. Remember my dad said, hey, write one more letter. University of Richmond sent you a brochure at the Keystone State games. Brochure, right? I sat down, last letter I write. Dear, University of Richmond, my name's Sean Casey, blah, blah, blah. Boom. Season goes. Senior year. All my buddies are going to different places. I'm coming in. There's 2 weeks to go in my senior year. We're playing this team, Montour. Right? Played Montour. I come up, first at bat, bases loaded. I had a bullet left center. Wham! All 3 runs score. Next at bat, I come up, another bullet, right center. I had 4 doubles. I went 4 for 4, 4 doubles, 8 RBIs. Greatest game in my great game in high school. 8 RBIs, 4 doubles, 4 for 4. Going out to first base, and my high school coach Jerry Miller goes, "Hey, Case," he's like, "Dude, great game today, man. How many hits do you have today?" I go, 4 hits, Jerry. How many doubles? 4 doubles. And I'm like left center, right center. I'm covering the lines. He's like, how many RBIs? 8 RBIs. He goes, "Man, that's great, man." And he paused for a second. He looked over and he goes, "Look behind the backstop." He goes, "See that guy sitting there?" He goes, "That's the University of Richmond coach. Drove 6 hours to come see you play." Isn't that incredible? Drove 6 hours to come see you play on the count of the letter you wrote him. Get out. Sure enough, after the game ends, I go up. His name is Mark McQueen. He was the coordinator, pitching coach, but recruiting coordinator. "Man, I really like your swing." And it was late in the process of recruiting. I'm a senior. It's in May. He's like, "We'd like to offer you a $1,000 scholarship. That's all the money we have." It was, and I think Richmond at the time was $30,000 a year. My dad was making 33. I'm like, "What do we do, Dad?" He's like, "We'll figure it out. We'll get a second mortgage.
Wow.
We'll get financial aid." That's how I ended up at the University of Richmond. I had no college scholarships offered, not Division III, II, or I. Obviously, he didn't know that, and they were the mid-major. University of Richmond gave me $1,000. But dude, as soon as I got to college, I hit every night. It wasn't a night I missed. I love Pearl Jam and AC/DC to this day because I listened to the 10 album, Back in Black, just hitting buckets of balls, left center, top of the cage, working the tee back. I see Juan Soto, Albert Pujols working on the back tee, just working on the bat path. I'm a freshman All-American as a freshman. I start my freshman year. I can't get a scholars college offer.
But
Start my freshman year.
All-American.
Sophomore year, I go to the Cape, and I beat out Todd Helton. I hit 340, led the league in RBIs, beat out Todd Helton for All-Star. And I was like, if Todd Helton's going to be the number 1 pick of the draft and Darren Erstad, I'm going to get drafted. Like, I was like, and sure enough, I end up hitting 461 my junior year, led the nation in hitting, and I was a second-round pick of the Cleveland Indians. But I just think to myself, 3 years earlier, I'm asking my dad, where is everybody?
Uh-huh.
And the bottom line was, he always said to me, hey, preparation meeting opportunity. That's what luck is. He goes, make your own luck. He's like, be prepared because an opportunity is going to come along. And when it does, you better be able to knock the door. And the opportunity was, I wrote the letters. No one's coming for you. University of Richmond shows up, 4 for 4, 8 RBIs, 4 double, because I'd been hitting every day. It just happened to be the greatest, game of my life. And dude, all because I can go back to that book when I was 16 years old. And when people say all the time, hey, how much of the game's mental? 90% of it's mental. Hey, what do you do to work on it? Well, back then it was like, I read the mental game of baseball and I take action.
Right.
I don't read the mental game of baseball and go, that's great stuff. No, I read the mental game of baseball and actually take action on it into the game. And I'm a guy now that's one of the best players in the country.
Dude, I love this.
So
you just said something which I've actually asked guys repeatedly, which is how much of the game is mental? And they all say the same thing, right? Anywhere from 80 to 90, 95%. Right.
It's golf in a team environment.
Right. So think about this. Okay, so we know that the game is mental by that degree, right? 75%, 80%, 90%, whatever it is.
Right.
How much of your day is spent focused on that? Because we all know that everything that you have figured out on your calendar right now for baseball is You're going to work out.
Right.
You're going to take BP.
Yeah.
You're going to take ground balls. You're going to throw a bullpen, whatever it is. It's all physical. And so my encouragement to players is always, what if we just took a piece of time? You're going to continue to devote time to the physical side. Like, that's not going to change. You're not going to stop taking ground balls.
Right.
Because you're now focused on the mental side.
Right.
But how do we add to that from the mental side? And it's like, sounds commonsensical.
Yeah.
But so many players are like, oh, now why don't they do it? Number one, I think it's because they don't know what to do. Right. And so now I want to talk about your program.
Yeah.
So tell everybody what it's...
Let me tell you really quick before we go to the program. I don't think people think it could be worked on, which is totally false. It can 100% be worked on how you think, what the process you put in. I used to have at 6 o'clock, my most important part of my day started at 6. So a 7 o'clock game, at 6 o'clock, I remember telling Rob Butcher, our PR guy, listen, from 6 on, I'm unavailable. My day starts at 6 o'clock. Because obviously I had my routines. I come in, hit off the tee, BP, all that stuff. That you talk about the mental side of the game, though. Like at 6 o'clock every day, I'd grab the mental game of baseball, my Bible, and my headphones. And I would head to, if I was on the road, I'd go to a bathroom stall. I mean, again, Wrigley, if you give me, I remember being in Wrigley, it was so tight in there, but I'd be in the bathroom, like, Case, you in there? I was like, yeah, I'm getting ready for the game. Like, I got my headphones, But 20 to 30 minutes, usually 20 minutes it took me. I'd sit down, I'd read one paragraph of the mental game of baseball. It's a paragraph on see the ball, be easy, and then the definition of mental discipline. Then I would read a scripture reading in the Bible just to make sure I kept perspective. Yeah. This isn't the end of the world. I call it if Harvey Dorfman used to call it the catastrophic technique. Just get to the worst case scenario so that you can get this fear out of you. Get to the worst case scenario. Are you going to die tonight? Right. Or are you going to get released? Okay, good. Is your life going to go on? Yeah, it is. So I always read that Bible verse to know that I'm not alone out there. At least my faith was important. And also keep it in perspective. This is baseball. You're going to play it for however long you do, and you're going to. But the power in that, Matt, to free you up. So now I can play free. Because if I'm free, I'm dangerous. Yeah. I show up in the box as I'm not scared of anything because I've already gone through my mental. I'm now dangerous, right? And another thing I used to do was it was called the release technique back then. It's now called the Sedona method. It's a whole book on it. And what you do is your body body keeps the score, right? Your mind-body connection is so real, right? Energy's real, right? So what I would do is I would think about the game or think about anything that was going on in my life. Could it be off the field? Could it be on the field? Whatever it was. It would show up in my body somewhere. Usually it'd show up in my gut. It'd show up in my solar plexus, show up in my throat. So what I would do is I would feel that every day. It shows up every day. It wasn't one day something didn't show up. So I'd feel it in my gut. I'd put my head down. I'd breathe in. And I would picture a window or a door opening up in my stomach. And then I would breathe in. And then I would breathe out, and I would see that energy flowing out of my stomach or flowing out of my chest. Well, the point that I'm making is sometimes we can overthink things and try and think through things. Sometimes you just got to go to the body to get rid of it. Yeah. I'd walk out after that 20 minutes, and I'd feel like now I'm in character. I just got into character. 7:05 character is now ready. Like, go get my uni on, grab a drink or whatever. I'm out the door to run my sprints, and I'm ready to play.
Brother, I love this.
So you know what I mean? So like, I worked on it every day. There wasn't a day that the most, I'd miss BP before I'd miss that. Yeah. I never missed that 20 minutes. That was it. And I tell guys all the time, dude, you got to find time for yourself. You got to get your mind to that parasympathetic. If you're sympathetic, listen, at the end of the day, when you go out to play baseball, your brain has one job. Keep you alive. That's all it is. That's why we're like, why am I so lazy? Why did I practice? Because your brain's going, you're good, dude. You're on the couch? Sure. Don't move, right? Now, when you're playing a big league baseball game, you think your brain actually thinks you're safe when you're holding a weapon in a batter's box in front of 50,000 people and a guy's holding a rock on the mound and he's about to throw it at you. You think you're safe? Right. No, you're not. Your brain's like, this is terrible. This is so, and the anxiety, and the anxiety you feel and the stress that I'm sure your players say, man, it's just, you can't explain it, but there's a lot of pressure. So what I say is that breath and that pregame ritual and the things you do one pitch at a time, pitch after pitch after pitch, getting your body into the parasympathetic, which is the sympathetic is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And the parasympathetic is rest, digest, relax. You have to tell your body and your mind, we're safe. We're playing baseball. We're getting ready to showcase our skills. Let's be aggressive. Let's go. That breath does that for you. That pregame routine does that for you. Guys don't do it. Guys don't do it because they don't know they can do it. They don't know they can train it. And that's why, you're just about to talk about my program, Breakthrough Pro. The reason I started this program, because I want to say, hey, listen, you think 90% of the game is mental? I have a program that I will actually show you that you can train it. I'll actually show you how to think. I'll actually show you, how to get to the prefrontal cortex of your mind and away from the amygdala that keeps you in that fear-based state that doesn't allow you to be consistent. You could be in the sympathetic nervous system and still go deep. That's why sometimes you see guys hitting 210 and with some home runs. I'm like, that guy is not playing as good as he can because he's probably playing anxious more than anything. And I saw, and as a hitting coach too, sometimes these guys, I'm sorry, I'm not bearing anybody, but sometimes these guys that haven't played the game that are talking about, get the ball out front, get the ball. That's easy. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Harvey Dorfman, you got to have balls to let the ball travel. Get the ball out front. Anyone could do it. I get my 14-year-old daughter to go get the ball out front. Come game time, the adrenaline's going to get it out there. The norepinephrine that's released is going to get you out there. You got to train how to let the ball travel visually. How do I slow myself down? It's all stuff that can be worked on, but guys don't talk about it enough. We just want to talk about exit velo, get the ball in the air, all this stuff. And I think, I actually think in the game of baseball nowadays, we're seeing that 6 teams last year had a batting average of 250 or greater. 6 teams, 250 or greater.
Wow.
That means 24 teams are less than 250. I think it's more of the mental process that we don't have now, that we don't teach. We're so analytically driven. We're so driven by numbers. We're so driven by these StatCast stuff. We're starting to miss the point of what does a good at bat look like? You want to tell me who a good player is? Why is Juan Soto so good? Why is Aaron Judge so good? Dude, they will grind you out for 600 and plus at bats and whatever pitches that equates to. Say you have 2,400 pitches, dude. These guys don't give you an inch, and that's why they're killers. The takes are better than everybody else. The fight off, like you watch Juan Soto, some of the fight off pitches, he's catching the ball so deep and just spoil. You know how frustrating it is for a pitcher? Now you get a guy that's just out there swinging, same swing out front, and dude, nowadays with the pitch shaping, you're in trouble.
Well, so I think a lot of these, I'm thinking about, I guess this could be a 16-year-old kid, this could be a 22-year-old kid in pro ball. They think they are what they are, right? So like, I'm not that way, right? And if you listen to yourself, tell yourself that you're not that way, and then you go into something like the mental side of the game that is overwhelming because they don't have experience working on it.
Right. That's what it is. It's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. And so I'm sure at some point when you were doing this exercise, early on in the process when you started doing it, it's like meditating. I'm sure your body was telling you like, I don't need to do this. I don't want to do this. This isn't doing anything for me. But at some point, I would imagine it clicked for you. And then you realized, this is me. Like, I am not going to go out there and perform unless and you said it earlier, I get into character. I love that.
It's great, right? It's the truth. Hey, listen, I love studying the brain. I love studying how the mind works. And, neuroplasticity where your brain, everyone's like, well, that's just the way I am. That's not true.
Right.
Let's stop with that stuff. That's not true. What's true is your brain is plastic. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Right. You're always changing. And I love this. I love this thought process of, Andrew Huberman said this one time, and I thought it was incredible. Who's a neuroscientist at Stanford. I'm sure you know who he is. Yep. But he was saying that when you get into neuroplasticity, now neuroplasticity can be a new routine. It doesn't have to be playing guitar, learning a language. Those are all, you're learning new neurons. It could be as easy as this pregame routine from 6 to 6:20 feels uneasy. He says when you're developing new neuroplasticity, the point of entry is agitation and strain.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, welcome. You're here. Welcome. So as soon as you feel agitated and strained, you're in the right place.
There, right.
You got to go. Now you got to go. And now repetition is the mother of skill from there on. So like if I stop because I'm agitated and strained, well, you're just like everybody else. Right. You're just like everybody else. But if you can have that agitation and strain and start developing new routines and things that you're going to, all of a sudden, it's like meditation. Just sit down for 3 minutes. Can you do it? Just sit down. Close your eyes. You don't have to be this big thing, but just do it and do it. It takes 63 days to develop a habit, right? 9 weeks it takes to really develop a habit, right? But agitation and strain is the entrance to a new routine. And that's why when guys get in these new routines, they don't want to stay because it's uncomfortable. And what I would say as a coach is, welcome. If you feel that agitated, you're in the right place. Now let's keep going.
Okay, so, and we don't have to get into specifics about this, but when you got the hitting coach job in 23 with the Yankees, did you feel like, I'm sure on some level, there were certain guys that naturally had their process where they did focus on the mental side. Yeah. But I'm sure there may be some, and it could have been maybe young kids coming up that you thought, man, what's your like mental side? What's your mental preparation? Were you surprised that some maybe didn't have it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And obviously there's so many elite players, with the Yankees, like Judge, and Judge is a killer mentally. I mean, you watch him and you watch some of these guys, but yeah, I mean, some of the younger guys are just learning to get routines. They're learning to figure out who they are. They're learning that you have to slow the game down. So there was definitely some guys I'm like, hey man, that's not going to work. What you're doing, I was like, it might have worked in AAA and AA and stuff like that.
Big leagues is a whole different animal.
I love this. A few years ago, I was on the Cooperstown ballot, which is a gift. You have to be 10 years in the big leagues with numbers to get on the ballot. So they send you the ballot and they say, hey, Sean, congratulations on being on the ballot. Only 5% of guys that get drafted make the big leagues. Of those 5%, 17% played 10 years or more. Congratulations. And I was like, wow, what a stat.
That's crazy.
So then when guys come up from the minors, I go, this is a different world up here. These are the sharks. These are the 1%ers. These are the guys, 95% of the guys you just faced will never be up here. They won't get a cup of coffee up here. These are the savages. That stuff that you think worked down there doesn't work up here. A couple young guys come up and they're taking BP, hitting these long fly balls on the pull side. I go, listen, I want you to know, if you keep working on that, you're going to get exposed up here. And they did. Slider. Sure. See ya. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's a different world up here. So I think the great thing about the big leagues is you can't teach experience. You got to get up there. And I also think your relationship with failure has to be one that you embrace. Failure is feedback. Failure is information. What did you learn today? It's the win or learn mentality. Win or learn. What'd you learn? What'd you learn? It's going to make you better tomorrow. What'd you learn? What that guy's throwing you first pitch sliders and you keep chasing. Like, what do you learn about your demeanor? What state are you in when you're hitting? Why do you keep chasing that first pitch slider? You think you'd learn, like, where's your evaluation? So stuff like that, I think is like, that's the stuff that and I think a good coach, that's why I think being a mental performance coach now and getting into that industry is like a good coach condenses time for you. A good coach condenses time, right? You're a great agent. You're one of the best agents out there. What do you do for a guy? Why would I hire you?
Right.
I'd hire you because you got 20-some years of experience with some of the best players in the world. You're going to condense time for me, and you're going to all the tricks in the.
That's a great way to describe it. Yeah.
Right. A young agent's going to come to Matt Hannaford and go, hey, dude, teach me.
Well,
right. Why do you want me? Because you've been around it, dude. You've done it. You have the experience I don't have. I might be the smartest guy going. I might have come out of Harvard. I might have studied being an agent. I don't have your experience. Condense time for me, man. Condensed time. And I think that's the thing about the mental side of the game is I think I don't know, and that's one thing too, for me, Matty, is like, you can write a book. You can be a good keynote speaker. You can be a good motivator. But you've never been in the box with 50,000 people in the World Series with the game on the line.
It's one of the reasons why. And I asked Albert Pujols this question. I said, Albert, if you're a manager in the big leagues, this was obviously when he played, if he never played in the big leagues, what effect is that having on his ability to get through to you? And he's like, I'd like to think that I don't look at him differently, but if you have not been in my shoes,
right, it's
totally different.
Right.
And I wish guys would have an opportunity to manage in the big leagues who never played in the big leagues. But I think from the perspective of like a respect and there's some power coming from what you're saying. The reason why I believe you're so impactful, aside from the information you're giving, it's, bro, you're telling me this through your eyes.
Right. I'm telling you what's worked and hasn't worked for me.
Which again, like going to the Breakthrough Pro thing, like, so what is that experience like? If someone signs up and wants to work with you,
right.
Is it online? Is it?
Yeah.
What
it's
is
an
it?
8-week program that we put together. You can go to breakthrough-pro.com or SeanCaseyLive.com. And it's 8 weeks. And, we do it Sunday nights. If we work with teams, we've worked with a few Division I college programs, and our online program is Sunday nights. We usually 7 to 8:30.
So is it like
weeks.
live?
It's live. It's me.
Oh, so it's you live.
It's me.
It's not like recorded video.
No, it's live.
Oh, I love that.
It's me for 8 weeks, dude. Like, it's me for 8 weeks, and
no chance you stay within the time.
There's no chance. Well, some weeks I do. Some weeks I'm like, hey, buckle up, people. We got 30 more minutes, and you freaking lock in. And it is incredible stuff. But dude, I just go through. I talk about the powers and the gaps. The powers and the gaps. It's kind of a baseball, play on words there. But the powers and the gaps in the 8 weeks that we go through are gratitude. Mm-hmm. If you get grateful, you get to the prefrontal cortex part of your brain. That means you're out of the fear-based centers. Your brain can't live in gratitude and fear at the same time. Right. It's impossible. So if I work to get grateful, you were talking about perspective. Now I'm dangerous. I show up as a grateful hitter. I'm a dangerous player, right? Because I'm in a place to perform.
So good.
Okay. But the second week we do is accountability. You got to be able to account for yourself. You got to be able to account. You got to be able to account for others, and you got to be able to account for your time. How you spending your time? What kind of teammate are you? And your accountability mirror has got to be all on you. I always say, like, when you take the me out of blame, all you have left is blah, blah, blah.
That's great.
Right? I don't want to hear it. All ultimate accountability. And so in our program, we talk about ultimate accountability in those 3 areas: yourself, others, and your time. How does that look? In week 3, we talk about perspective. Working that perspective muscle. That perspective, gratitude muscle, those are muscles. Gratitude practice. Batting practice. You want to be a great hitter, you hit it every day. You want to be great at gratitude, do it every day. And it teach you how to I'm really teaching you how to get a routine and get a protocol and place these habits into place. The 4th week, we do something called story. I call it story. But it's narratives. The narratives you tell yourself, well, it's just the way I am. That's, I just don't do that well. This is how my dad taught me. Stop it. That's not true. You have to look at your stories and what you're telling yourself and what's holding you back and start to reframe your story. Your perspective has to change. Your stories have to change. Your narratives are driving us. We have no awareness that our narratives are driving us from how we grew up, what a coach might have said when we were younger, whatever it is. I teach you how to have awareness of your stories. And, are you at the victim mentality or are you at the warrior mentality? And the victim mentality lives in that amygdala. 80%, you have 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% are on a negative bias. So if you don't work for the 20% of your thoughts in that gratitude perspective realm, change your narratives, you just default to mediocrity.
Right.
That's just the way we've always done it, man.
Yeah.
That's the way. So I teach you in that week 4 how to reevaluate your narratives and how to change it, right? Pretty cool. Then week 5, we talk about grit. That true grit is having meaning. What are you playing for? What's your purpose? Meaning times effort is grit. That's what we talk about. You're going to have effort at another level if you can find meaning for the reason you're doing what you're doing. So we talk about grit there, and then we talk about action protocol. We kind of put those weeks together, action protocol. Knowledge, I can't stand when people say knowledge is power. No, it's not. Knowledge is potential power. It doesn't mean crap if you don't do something about it. I read Harvey Dorfman's book, and I don't do anything about it. I'm as good as the newborn.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm as good as the newborn. Right. We know exactly the same. We haven't done anything about it. So we talk about action, and then protocol. We talk about what's your routines. What's your AM, PM bookends look like? What do you do in the mornings? What do you do at night? We go baseball wise and life. Because I truly believe if you want to be a great baseball player, the best version of yourself as a man or a woman, softball, has to show up in that box. You can't just be a good baseball player. You have to be a well-rounded man that looks at himself in the mirror and says, I'm proud of that guy. I do what I say I'm going to do. Ultimate confidence, right? And then the last week we talk about service. How can you serve your, guy on second, 1 out, get him over. Play the game right. This game rewards you when you're playing for each other. The service to each other, service to people in life. So, and then that's our 8 weeks, man. And
so when does it start?
What do you mean?
Do you have class, the next round of people coming in starts March 1? Or
like we're finishing up this, we do like a Breakthrough Pro Public too. So we have Breakthrough Pro Baseball that we have, and Breakthrough Pro Public, which is like, we have kids from 14, I have women that are in their 58. They're like, you've changed our life.
That's great.
And we have a lot of people that have, one thing I'm learning is like, also marketing is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not a marketer, but I have, so I'm working on that and getting it out there and stuff like that. But yeah, so we're finishing up. We're just, this Sunday is our last week of this session. And I think we're going to launch a Breakthrough Pro Baseball and softball one probably in the middle of April.
Okay.
Middle of April, yeah, is when we'll start.
That's
so if
great.
you go to breakthrough-pro.com, we'll have it up there soon of when that next date is to start.
Yeah, it sounds like if you're a pitcher, you're still benefiting from.
Dude?
Right, it's not just
bro. It's not just it's
hitters.
pitcher. If you're a pitcher, fielder, hitter, it's for everybody. This isn't just about hitting. This is about pitching. We talk about just being able to really as a pitcher, man, you got to be able to really lock in, slow yourself down, stay aggressive in the zone, pound the zone. Your job's to hit the glove wherever it's at. You having your game plan. I mean, there's so many things that tie in. But like I said, when you start talking about these topics, I want you to be the best version of yourself as a human being. Because if you do that, you will be able to handle failure in this game at another level, because it won't be your identity, and you'll be able to be the best version of yourself. Because when you get punched in the mouth, you'll be able to get up again, and again and again. And I tell you what, at the end of the day, the storm I teach people in the program too. When the storms come for you, not if, when. Here's your tools. Here's where you go. Here's your self-talk. Here's how you breathe. Here's how you slow down. Here's how you stay aggressive. Here's how you keep charging.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Is that great, dude? Right?
Your best marketing is just you. You just need to talk about it.
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you, I'm sold.
Your best marketing, dude.
Oh man. Well, hey, just a couple more questions for you. So you talked about the specific story you told us about your dad telling you, "Hey, I'm not going to go talk to your coach for you."
Yeah.
I think a lot of times parents today can sometimes get in the way because they want to get involved in their son. In their career, right? Maybe it's, I want to take charge. I do want to talk to the coach. What advice would you give to a parent who maybe has this inclination that like, I need to do something?
I think when you enable your kids, you really disable them. When you do things for your kids all the time and you just want them to have the easy way out, easy has a cost. Easy has a cost. And at the end of the day, your kid's going to either put in the work or he's not. Like mommy and daddy going to talk to the coach, like the greatest conversation I ever had with my dad. The only reason we're here talking, the only reason we know each other is because my dad said no. That's the only reason I'm here.
It's a great
Had
point.
he said yes, and I go and I play freshman year, and the coach is like, yeah, I like your kid, and I like you too, Jim. You're a good guy. You're a good pillar of the community, and I play, and I never learned the pain.
Yeah, he would have taken away your agency.
He would have taken it away, dude. Pain is a good thing. Feeling uncomfortable, agitation and strain is a good thing. You're not good enough, dude. You're not glaringly better.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I don't know how to give it to you any other way. You're not glaringly better at the end of the day. He was right. And the truth hurts sometimes. You look at our kids and just freaking do everything for them. Hey, dude, you want to be a big league ball player? It's going to take so much work. Are you ready? Are you ready to get glaringly better? Are you ready to do a 20-minute, 30-minute mental routine every day at 6 o'clock? Are you ready to have a routine that's foolproof? Are you ready to freaking lift weights and eat right and sleep 7 to 9 hours and meditate and slow your mind down and tell your body you're the boss and do it every single day? Are you ready to have meaning for why you show up and purpose for what you do things? Are you ready to live in gratitude and see like this is bigger than you? That's what it takes. It takes what it takes. So like, daddy and mommy coming to help me out. Thank God. Thank God my dad said no.
Yeah.
Thank you, God. Because we would not be here, man. Because I would have just been a good high school player. I never would have learned the lesson of like, you got to put the work in. Nobody's coming for you, man. Nobody. And mommy and daddy shouldn't come for you either. If you want it, you better figure it out. If you want it, you better put the work in. And if you don't want it.
Right.
And that's okay. Do something else.
Right. That's okay.
It's okay, dude.
Yeah.
Not everybody's meant to be a big leaguer. And tell you the truth, with Breakthrough Pro, I'm not here to form big leaguers. I'm here to form people. And you do whatever you want after that.
Right.
If you want to be a big leaguer, here's the blueprint.
Yeah.
Because you have the talent, but the work ethic, I'm going to teach you how to get the best out of everything that you have as a man or a woman. I'm going to teach you that. Now do whatever you want.
Well, and this is what my mind goes to the place where the parent who undoubtedly wants it more than the kid, right? The kid, they think they want it. They almost haven't even been able to figure out if they do, though, because their mom and dad have been on them about, no, like, you need to do this. And look, I know it's not one size fits all, and like you're either an abrasive parent or you're not. Like there's different flavors of it in between. But I do think it's an important thing to be mindful of. Because if you think you're helping your son, oftentimes all you're doing is you're cutting his knees out from under him and you're not giving him the lesson. But if your son is a talented player and he's going to get drafted and you do not allow him to figure it out this early, the minute you're gone,
right, he's done.
Something is going to happen in pro ball,
right.
And it's going to be a rude awakening.
Right.
And now he doesn't have the tools, right? Like if your dad would have done that for you, I said, he would have taken away your agency. You wouldn't have even known that you had this desire, passion,
there you go.
Interest, ability to learn, ability to make adjustments,
right,
for all that stuff.
Never would have tapped into anything.
Never would have happened.
Tapped into anything. That's what I mean. My advice would be like, show these kids what hard work looks like. More's caught than taught as a parent. More's caught than taught. Yeah, don't tell me. Show me. Show me. You know? Show me that you love me. Show me that you work hard. Show me that you live in gratitude. Show me that you are accountable. Show me that you do what you say you're going to do. I mean, real confidence is just doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
You want to be a confident parent, do what you say you're going to do. You want your kids to be confident? Keep doing what you say you're going to do. Keep showing up when you say you're going to show up. And stop giving your kids everything. More's caught than taught.
You're an animal. I love it.
It's the truth, right?
All right, I got a last question for you.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping you remember this. Do you remember doing the segment on MLB Network with Dan O'Dowd? And it was all about how to hit velo.
Oh, yeah.
You remember this?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about, and I'm not asking you to go through the whole exercise, but I think so many kids today are now at the plate facing these guys that, I mean, even in high school now, guys are upper 90s.
Right.
If you're not hitting 95, it's like, oh, you're not throwing hard anymore.
Yeah, right.
That used to be the case in the big leagues. Now it's every bullpen guy you're going to see in the big leagues is 100, right?
Yeah, right.
So as a hitter who played in an era where guys started to throw really hard, how did you handle the adversity? Or not the adversity, the velocity?
Well, I think with velocity, obviously you have to have the mentality of yes, you're swinging until your eyes tell you no. And also for me, like hitting velo, like I had to push him out. I had to push. I had to get to my swing where I could hunt the fastball. Anything that was breaking or on a slider or was a changeup up, mistakes. I could hit those if I was push them up, push them out, looking left center, and and then look middle away, react in. And with velo was just really like, I tell you what, it wasn't getting geared up for velo. If you want to hit velo, you got to slow down. Because if I could slow down, like I talked about, get to that parasympathetic. I didn't understand this back then. I understand it now.
Yeah.
But I understood it worked. I just know that breath worked, and it was like, it's like a boxer. It's like a snake. You ever seen a snake? The snake will slither up on you, and you look, oh my God, snake, bam, and he's got your jugular. Right? He's got your jug. You're done. I mean, you saw the snake. Next thing you know, you're talking to Jesus, or whatever. Right. Like, what happened? Well, that's it. You got to be that snake that's ready to go. And then as soon as that fastball is your jugular, and that wham. What? How did you get on that? I got on that because I was calm, aggressive. I was hunting you. I'm hunting the fastball. Like when I see it, I'm on it. And I'm trying to line it right back up the middle. And if I catch it a little out front, I'm probably going to get you in there. If I catch it a little deep, I'm going to shoot you left. And if you back up a slider, you can book it that I'm going to clip you. Right? But it was that mentality of like, I want to hit velo, I got to slow down. You're facing Randy Johnson, you better push him out. Middle in, that's probably his. I'm going to give it to him. People say, how do I hit that? That's impossible. Don't swing at it. You don't like it? Don't swing at it. The one that's blacker in, that's his. And what happens is you start swinging the blacker in, you start bringing the plate with you. Oh, these guys will either, that slider becomes, it's over.
Yeah.
Right, it's over. So like a guy like Randy Johnson, like I just had to push him up, push him out.
Oh, that's crazy.
And try to go to left center with him.
He's letting the ball go behind you.
Yeah, I know, it was incredible. Dude, remember the first time I faced him, I was like, this is one of the most uncomfortable experiences. Talk about agitation and strain. I was like, now this is new.
Yeah.
Guy's 6'11". I'm lefty on lefty. He's throwing behind me at 100 with a 93-mile-an-hour slide. But I learned to hit Randy Johnson. I went 0 for 4 my first game, but I think I hit 333 off him in my career. I was 5 for 15 after being 0 for 4. Learning that I have to, the front shoulder's got to stay in. Like I cannot bail at all. So like, talk about being calm. I got to be able to hold that position, hunt away, and just, trust my hands, to do damage. So I think with velo, I tell you the truth, I could be wrong with this, but this is after being a hitting coach for the Yankees, I think we train velo too much. Oh. I think guys are worse against fastballs because we're training a jumpy swing. We're training.
I can see that.
We're training this. Because if I'm a machine, I got a little bit of. Well, guess what? This Matty, this little one in the big league, you're done. Kryptonite. This. So we got all these machines. Hey, velo day. Unload.
Yeah.
100. The last thing I want to do is this as a hitter.
Right.
I want to be slow. Do you ever see Ohtani? I don't know if you saw this interview with Harold Reynolds. He said, what do? You velo? Tee and flips.
Right.
Only do tee and you only do tee and flips? Tee and flips. Tee and flips. Aaron Judge. Ton of tee work, ton of flips, little BP. I never saw Judge do a velo machine. Not much. I don't,
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if your guy's training velo all the time, you're training a jumpy swing. This is my opinion.
Yeah. No, do you know Doug Lotta?
I know. The hitting guy.
I was at the Fullerton game. He has a son who plays. We have the guy on Stanford. Yeah. And I ran into Doug, and Doug uses the analogy of a lollipop, right? And he goes, just imagine the head is obviously the top of the lollipop, and then, the whatever stick. The stick, thank you, is the body. But like you want to kind of visualize yourself like saying so calm, right? And it's what you're describing. Like you're not moving. It's just you're staying in this one place.
Yeah, you're like in that, Bryce Harper talked about being in that phone booth. Yeah. It's kind of like
That's interesting, though.
It's a dance. You're dancing.
Your intuition would tell you, no, you want to like go get it.
It's incredible. And I've been there. I've tried to hit velo, going to get it. It never works. When you're about getting blown up, you're firewood, instant firewood.
All right, I said that was my last question. I have one more.
I'll stay here as long as you want.
I don't know.
This is great.
Okay. Do you want to tell everybody this story? And we don't need to tell them what company it was with the bat, where you got a bat.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell them the story. And they would love it. And Marucci.
Please tell the story.
It's a great story. So Kyle Orso, our buddy, great guy. And, Ors would, and Brett Laxton, who makes the bats, and, and Kurt Ainsworth, they're great friends of mine. I'm very fortunate to be a part of Marucci. So this is in 2008. I would get, you get your bats. Yeah. The wood they give you is incredible. You're like, oh, this is great. Jack Marucci at the time made some of the best bats out there. But I'd also get some bats for autograph bats. They send you, what they do with the autograph bats is they just take a piece of wood. They don't.
Didn't need to be good wood.
It's not. It's not. As a matter of fact, they're just like logs. You're like, oh, these things. They come. I used to swing a 34, 32. The autograph bat, they look like my bat, but like a 34-40. You know what I mean? Because they're just pieces of wood. And on the bat, on my big league bat, it was great. Jack Marucci was from Pittsburgh, so my bats were the RC 21s because I was number 21.
Oh, that's great
for Clemente.
Yeah, right.
So it's pretty cool. So he was like, "Hey, dude, I'm going to make you your own special model." I remember they came. He was like, Clemente. I was like, dude, that's so cool. So my RC21s were my gamers. Then the other ones would say custom cut Casey, custom cut. That's all they'd say, custom cut. So I knew the custom cuts were the autograph bats. So sure enough, we're going on a West Coast trip, going out to Seattle and Anaheim or something like that. So show up, I'm starting that first day against King Felix and go up
King Felix.
Yeah. So I load up. Felix Hernandez, right? So I load up my bats for the trip because you when you get your bats and you know which ones you like and load them up and a couple and I load a couple of autograph bats because you go on West Coast, a guy might want one or something like that. So I load up my bats and I go out there first to bat, he's blowing balls by me. And I'm like, man, I usually not getting blown away like this. This is incredible. Bat feels that must be the West Coast trip. I'm too tired.
Yeah, you're tired.
I didn't sleep well. So get blown up my first at bat, second bat come up, strike out 2 in a row, which I didn't strike out a lot like that. So I was like, wow, that's a lot for me. So sure enough, and what's funny is I just met Eddie Vedder. Not met him. I met him years earlier, but I hung out with him a couple nights before.
From Pearl Jam.
Yeah, Pearl Jam. He was at the game. I'm like, I got to impress Eddie Vedder today. I'll make sure he knows. Wait till he says, so I look over. I'm like, God, I'm the opposite of impressing Eddie Vedder. He punched out twice. So sure enough, I come up my fourth at bat. It's like a couple guys on. We're down a run. And I'm like, and I literally, about come to Jesus moment with myself. Like, let's go, dude. Like, lock it
swing
in.
It. Yeah.
Lock it in. What are you doing? It's incredible. So sure enough, I come up and Felix Hernandez gets me about 2-2 pitch, throws me a heater. Wham! I cover it. Line drive right, tie the game. Like, let's go. Look over. Vedder had already left. I'm like, where's Vedder? He's like, he saw enough of your tired act, took off, and it was like, this was like in the 8th, So sure enough, I tied up, whatever. I think we end up winning the game. So after the game, I come back. I'm like, man. I go to grab my bats to go up to the, the dugout, the clubhouse afterwards, and I pull my bats on. I'm like, pull that bat out. And I pull one of my gamers out. I'm like, wow, this feels so light. Pull out the bat I was using for the game. And I'm like, God, this is so heavy. And I look down and it says, custom cut.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I've been swinging a 34-40 autograph bat.
Honestly, that's got to be the greatest hit you had in your career, though.
Dude, this is one of my greatest hits ever, dude.
34-40.
I felt like I was like Babe Ruth.
Off King Felix.
Off King Felix in his prime. Oh, you talking about mental. I was like, let's go, lock it in. No, you can't.
Okay.
Get it together.
Tell me you didn't sign that bat and give it away.
Dude, I don't know where.
I
wish I had that bat.
Eddie Vedder.
I should have, dude. That's the bat I want right now.
Oh,
I said, what bat do you want? I was like, I want that custom cut. I got a 34-30 off Felix Hernandez.
That's so good.
Incredible. Well, at least I said, too, hey, Marucci's bats are made the best because they work in the games. Even the autograph bats.
Even the autograph bats, you can get a knock.
You get a
That's great.
Get a big league knock.
I love it. Well, brother, this has been awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Andy. It's been really great, dude. I've really enjoyed this, man.
I feel like we're going to do this again.
Oh, we're definitely going to do this again. I'm having you on my podcast. I want to know. I got so many questions for you, dude. I want to hear that side of the industry. I love it. I can't wait.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.